Welcome one and all to the Back of the Desk preview podcast. My God, it's been a while since I said that. We're here to look ahead to Arsenal's trip to Selhurst Park, where Palace will be looking to go 7 unbeaten and only 1 defeat in 11 or something along the lines of that. Hesketh.
Hello.
It's just me and you today. Albert is sick. I mean, it's been quite a tumultuous time for us between me having a kid. Well, not me, my wife having a kid, should I say.
Very tumultuous if it was you.
Me getting what's it called, norovirus, Albert getting COVID, and then falling down with something else straight after, not knowing what it is. You smashing up your knee.
Me, yeah, and my fridge.
And you
with my knee.
With your knee. Oh, is that how it happened? What did you run out of lemony water or something?
I did. I was running out of filtered tap water. I was actually running after my dog. And I slipped and I went knee first into the fridge, which now has a dent in it. And my knee sort of turned yellow and black for about a week.
You should have seen
it's
your
fine
fridge.
now. I mean, it's fine. It gave me something to moan about, which is fun.
Yeah, so, God, what was the last preview you did? Was it City?
Ooh, yeah, I think it was. And I had to do the intro. And I just never know how long you go on with preview podcast. And I think I went way too long. So I've got some work to do next time you're off.
Yeah, I don't know. God knows. I assume it's fairly consistent. Who knows? It also depends how much, are the kids sleeping in the background? So do I need to keep it down or not? Just say, I remember you guys saying you weren't sure the baby's name yet. So I went with Ellis for a first name and Julian and Wilfred for the middle names.
Oh.
Wilfred was close to the first name. There was, I reckon I got fairly close, but she kind of shut it down in the last couple of weeks. Be like, no, I can't do it.
Well, a great name nonetheless, and 2 wonderful middle names. I don't think anyone can complain about that.
Yes. It's quite a change to life, but another Palace fan in the world will get him down to Selhurst as soon as possible. But
has he got a little Palace kit already?
He doesn't actually, because they didn't. I went into the club shop the other day to try and get all this stuff because I wanted to get one for the toddler as well, but didn't actually have them in the kids' sizes, so I've got to order online. He actually has a Milan kit though, because that was bought for him by my Milan mate immediately. So I need to step up and get him a Palace one, but he'll have it in time for the FA Cup semi-final, that's for sure. Yes. So we've made an FA Cup semi-final. Absolutely put Everton to the sword. No thanks to Andros Townsend, or all thanks to Andros Townsend, getting old soon, a horrible injury at his age and this stage of his career. But we were terrible before that. I was really worried.
Yeah, maybe don't ask Frank Lampard what he thought of the game, because if he tells it, we've the most jammy team of all time. No, it was great though. I mean, yeah, like you say, first 10 minutes or whatever, 15 minutes wasn't great. Until Agent Andros unfortunately got injured. And then it sort of seemed to flick a switch, and then we just looked great. Having Wilf, Ebbs, Gallagher, Elise in a line, all pass the ball in one move to each other was pretty special. I think it's something we've all been wanting all season, isn't it, really? So, good fun.
What I loved about it was while Townsend was down, there was 6 or 7 of them in the middle of the pitch, all in a circle, just having a set 2 with each other, just properly, working out what was going wrong. And the fact that they did that themselves showed the maturity and the respect they have for each other in the bunch to actually then literally, it was like a flipped switch. And from that point on, it was all over for Everton, really.
Yeah. And that's a really good point, because I think something that we've been critical of in the past few seasons is you don't seem to see that sort of leadership on the pitch. And, there was an injury break or a drinks break or something, you'd notice the teams that would all go and talk to the manager or talk to each other, because we would just sort of be hanging about.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very noticeable, and obviously did the trick. So yeah, double thumbs up for that.
Yeah, and then of course we scored from a set play, an average goal, a fluke goal, and an average goal. So I'll take 4 average fluke goals all day long, mate. Don't worry about it. And of course, now it's been announced on the day of recording that tickets have gone on sale for the semi-final. Gone to Ticketmaster. The box office have gone, nah, look, we can't do this. We're out of our depth with Brentford away when it's under 3,000.
Yeah.
Not sure we should be trying to do 35,000 or whatever it is.
I also really like that the tweet about having to sort of log in and set all this stuff up on Ticketmaster was sent at like 5:29, where the box office have clearly gone, send tweet, log off, fuck off home, before it all kicks off.
It seems fairly easy to link everything on the website. It's nuts that they've done it and they go on sale tomorrow. You're obviously going to get loads of complaints for that, especially when they then announce a tour to Australia and then the tickets are immediately on sale. It's like, available, buy now. Like, what? Come on. But yeah, so we were talking before, we're sort of going behind the goal, block next to the HF. Bit too old for the jumping up and down all games, so I need to just ease off to the side slightly.
Yeah, I mean, my knees weren't great to start with, but after the collision with my triple-size American fridge, I think my jumping up and down days well, they're not over, but I have to limit them somewhat. But I like it. This Ticketmaster thing, I feel a bit like a teacher that's on a school trip trying to make sure everyone's got their permission slip from their parents and stuff, because over like 3 or 4 different WhatsApps, I'm trying to get people, make sure you've logged in, make sure your client reference is in there, tell me when you've done it, let me add you. If it, stay online in case it doesn't add you. And then periodically having to calm down Albert, who doesn't understand a queuing system because he hasn't read the instructions or whatever. So if we get tickets, it will be a miracle.
Yes, I'm sure it'll be fine. Always is at Wembley, and it's nice you get everyone all goes together in a group, because home games you all split out here and there. Away games, not everyone goes to all the time, so it's going to be nice to have everyone in and around each other. How do you feel about the Chelsea game? Who would you have preferred, either of the other teams?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds kind of stupid because to say I'd prefer Liverpool or Man City, but I think I mentioned this when we played them, the preview we did before we played them in the league, where I just never see us beating them. Like, I just think they're like a robot that just has our number. Whereas for whatever stupid reason, even though our record against Liverpool is pretty shit of late, I just feel like we get opportunities against them. And Man City, obviously, we do all right. But honestly, I mean, they're the top 3 teams in the league, aren't they? So whoever we get is going to be... We're the one that all 3 of them wanted, put it that way.
Yeah, it's true. It was before the draw, because the draw was before Liverpool Forest. Mm-hmm. So it's like, what do you want here? Do you want to get Liverpool Forest and then hope that Forest find a way? And they nearly did. Like, I thought Forest were very unlucky in that game. But yeah, it's going to be tough, isn't it? It's the top 3, the country against Little Old Palace. But hey, yeah. We've unbeaten against Man City this season. We always had our moments against Liverpool down the years, and there's been some moments against Chelsea as well. So you never know.
I'll take getting to an FA Cup semi-final at the beginning of the season. So just being in is better than I thought. I just wanted a cup goal at the beginning of the season, to be honest. So
yeah, it's true.
I'm fine with it.
Indeed. Blimey. But yeah, getting excited for that. Really, really excited. Got a fantastic day planned already. And just let's hope for some good weather and a competitive game. I think it will be. Give them a good game at Selhurst, and quietly confident. I don't know why. I've got a feeling that I don't know. I've got the same feeling. I had the same feeling from the 3rd round this year as I did in 2016. I just had a feeling we were going to get to the final, and I have the same feeling. Wow. So
great.
Fingers crossed. 3 England internationals. off the back of this cup run and the good form that we've had in the league this season. We'll claim Conor Gallagher for ourselves at this juncture. Weren't in the squad when he was playing for West Brom or Chelsea, was he? So
he was not.
And then Mark Gay, and perhaps the one that we all feel the most about, Tyreek Mitchell. Just absolutely unbelievable that seeing him come on and then start for England on Tuesday night. Brilliant stuff.
I mean, I actually watched a couple of England games, but I can't remember the last time I did that. But it was funny. We had a friend over for dinner. Who do they play for? Switzerland, for the Switzerland game. And we were having a chat in the other room. We had the telly on. And then I got a text saying, I've just seen Mitchell, he's coming on. And like mid-sentence, I was like, you got to hold that thought. And then me and Vanessa like legged it in the front room to watch Ty come on. And our friend, she sort of likes Palace because of us. But we were like, look, it's like we're his parents. This is the biggest day of his life. But yeah, it was great seeing him. And from what I saw of him, he looked good. He wasn't phased. Same with Gay. And I think Gallagher got man of the match, didn't he, in the first one?
I think he did. Yeah, because he got the assist for Luke Shaw. Really ropey start for the first 40 minutes for England weren't very good, but Conor Gallagher was just being himself, trying to make stuff happen regardless. And I think he ended up getting it.
So yeah, it's great. I mean, it's it's testament to how well they've done and what we've done as a club this season, obviously, to get in the squad. But for them to then play and look as comfortable and as impressive as they did is even better, really. So very happy for them all.
Yeah, I've seen it. So Mark Gay won the handball for the penalty against Switzerland. As everyone claims, that's a fantasy football assist. So we'll take it. And weirdly, coming out of it, a Tyreek Mitchell and Jack Grealish love affair seems to have blossomed. Like Jack Grealish really, really praising him on Twitter. I think you think Jack's trying to get in the door at Palace. He's seen the ways of Super Pat Vieira and he wants to get involved.
Yeah, I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, that's exactly what it is. I mean, I think Grealish is good for a place on the bench.
Yeah, I was thinking that it'd be quite expensive to sit on the bench. Don't really see where he fits in.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to push Schluppy off, is he? So Nice try, Jack.
Oh my God, could you imagine that with just Kouyaté? You need to do everything over here because it's going to be Grealish, Elise, Zaha, Eze, and Gallagher, and Edouard or something ahead. Yeah, blimey, that'd be fun. But yeah, it was don't know where that came from, but Grealish obviously likes him. And I guess he's just that no-nonsense sort of fullback who just is looking to get Grealish on the ball as much as possible down that side. So it makes sense that he'd like him. And always tirelessly offers the run on the overlap in those games. Yeah. He was, flashed a really dangerous ball across the box in one of the games. I think it was the Ivory Coast game. So, yeah, really impressive debut for him. I mean, I think we all know realistically he's probably a little bit off of the first team when you take into account Ben Chilwell and Luke Shaw when they're completely fit. But he's doing all the right things, progressing with each few months that goes. He just gets better and better. So why not? Cements down that attacking part of the game, which he's again just improved dramatically on. His delivery is really, really good, improved a lot. His understanding of when to make runs and what runs to make is growing. So why not?
Why not?
Go on, Tyreek. Love it, mate. Absolutely love it. And of course, these making the FA Cup semi-final and getting the 3 internationals spawned the Scotty Stacks freestyle, Scotty Stacks from the Manor. We've particularly picked out the line that goes Pat Vieira Paul from the Francais Riviera down to South Londres, Inglaterra. Bit of French rap in there for you, Hesketh.
Perfect. That was great. That was really good. I think unanimously across like every platform I saw it on, it was just Palace fans being like, "Fucking hell, this is the best." Yeah. So he's done he's done the business for that.
Yeah, really has. And if you don't know who Scotty Stacks is, you could listen to the Manor, South London legends that they are. would fully recommend going to one of their gigs if you've never been to one of their gigs before. Or on Tuesday nights, either at 7:30 or 8, he hosts a Twitter space with friend of the pod, Ojo Walker on Twitter, who's been on the pod, appeared on the pod a few times in the past. And who's the other guy? There's Jay Knox, the
Jay
DJ.
Knox, yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's always good for a laugh if you drop in there and listen to that. What else we had? Oh, Riakpor, the boxer, the guy who's coming out to Glad all over and wearing the Palace crest on his shorts. Obviously, after the three players played for England that night at Wembley Arena, straight after the game, he scored the knockout to win. HF in the crowd, singing Palace songs, banners up. Only to, in the immediate aftermath, tweets starting to appear, which seemed to say that he might be a Millwall fan. Skip, what do you think's going on here?
Yeah, well, a bit like watching England. I don't really watch much boxing, to be honest, but I was like, it's on. We'll put it on. He's got the Palace crest on his shorts and that, and you could hear the HF all the way through the fight. So I was like, yeah, it's just pretty cool. I could get into this. And then, the next day I was like, why? Everyone was very like high on him, and then the next day everyone was like giving him shit, and I was like, this is a weird turnaround. What's he said? Like, what's happened? And then there's a picture of him outside the Den in a Millwall hat, I think, being like, tough game today against Bradford from like 6 years ago. I don't know. I mean, I don't really care, to be honest. I didn't know he was a couple of years ago, so.
I think it's probably a case of he doesn't give a shit about football much at all, but knows it's a route into building a fan base, right? And we have a pretty vociferous fan base and a loyal fan base, and if you get us behind you, then it's going to be good for him. But I don't know. Those pictures aren't good, and the tweets were hastily deleted. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a great look.
It's not, is it? But if if he was just trying to get a fan base behind him, I don't know. I don't like being used like that. I hope that's not the case.
I think that's the thing. Like, there was quite a few of the HF there went there, and I'm sure the tickets weren't super cheap, so it's a bit shit to sort of latch onto that if you genuinely don't care. But I mean, I'm not going to
see this. I'll see. I haven't heard anything about it yet and from him, but just pretend it didn't happen. I think it will be. Yeah. And no one's. Let's be honest. No one's going to argue with him.
Exactly. Yeah. You support who you want, Richard.
Yeah. Especially. That right hand is something special. It could knock you all the way down under to Melbourne, mate.
And these are the segues that I wasn't doing when I was hosting, mate. So
now, what's ridiculous about this is I have a very good friend who I grew up with who moved to Melbourne about 8 or 9 years ago, and he's going to be in fucking London when Palace are in Melbourne. I mean, it's kind of pretending that I would have been there. I would have loved to have been there, and if he was there and I hadn't just had a kid, maybe I would have made an effort to get out there. To just been I've always wanted to go to Melbourne, so here's my opportunity. And it's at the MCG as well. Like I would love to go, but not going to happen. But good exposure for the club on the world scale.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I got a text. I got a mate who lives down there. He's actually a West Ham fan, unfortunately. But he texted me. He was like, "Oh, so his adopted team in Australia's Melbourne." And he was like, "You're going to come and see my boys." And I was like, "Mate, I've not left the country in 2.5 years. So if I get to the fucking South Coast, I'll be happy." And then he called me an armchair fan. So that's where we're at.
Yeah. No, there will be some people who make the journey. That's for sure. Like,
and to do it at that, that massive cricket ground would be great. And I mean, there's tons of expats there anyway. Football's getting bigger and bigger over there, and we're playing Man U. I think Man U are playing 3 games and we're playing 3 games, aren't we? So to do the same sort of tours as those big clubs, I suppose, it's all a marketing thing, isn't it? So I'm sure it'll get us some new fans.
I guess we must be known in Australia. We've had our fair share of Australians down the years, more than most clubs, I'd imagine. If you're like looking back, Craig Moore, Craig Foster, Nicky Rizzo, Colvier, moving up to Jedinak, Muscat,
Popovic.
Yeah, they must know who we are by now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'd love to go, but it's not going to happen at this moment in time for me.
I'm still holding out for another away trip in France somewhere, so I can visit my mum and go and watch Palace. That would be nice.
Yeah, Metz was lovely. Metz was a lovely little town.
Didn't go to Metz, so that's annoying.
Missed out getting.
I did go to the Switzerland game where it was like £28 a pint. So I think I picked the wrong game there, to be honest.
I can't believe how expensive Switzerland is. Like the bill coming for like 2 croissants and 2 coffees, and it being about £32. Being like, what? Excuse me, I think you've made a mistake.
Yeah, I wanted one, not one box.
Yeah, but I think we might need every team to play in a stadium the size of the MCG if we're going to fit all the substitutes into the stadium. Seems like Jurgen Klopp has finally got his own way after fucking persistent moaning.
He is going to be...
As I tweeted today, he's a plague on our game.
He is. And
he needs to be stopped.
He's going to be gurning his absolute tits off at this news. Like, his whole thing about... one of his arguments was like, well, we've got so many world-class players, it's not fair that they're not playing as much. Well, don't buy them then. You
Exactly.
idiot. And then he said, oh, I'm sorry, all these clubs at the bottom complaining. If you're bottom with 3 subs, you'll be bottom with 5. That's not an argument. I honestly, I hate it. Like, if both teams make all 5 subs, then that's like literally half of the outfield players on the pitch will have changed. It's dumb. I mean, we've been through it before, but yeah, it doesn't benefit anyone except the top 3 or 4, does it? I mean, it's a nonsense. I don't like it.
I mean, it's interesting because I've seen some people argue it doesn't impact us as much now as it would have done a year ago or 2 years ago because we've got a lot more depth in that squad. But I don't think it's the principle of the thing that it should be a fair and level playing field. And it's already not a fair and level playing field in many aspects. And then to say, just to hand them, you say, if you've got all these world-class players, play them. Like rotate your squad and give them game time. Do you know what I mean? It's just ludicrous. And all this as well. Oh, you can only make them in 3 windows though. So it takes forever when you have 5 substitutes in the game. Do you know how boring it is when it's live, just being like, oh, another substitution. Oh, we can do it in 3 windows. But they take 3 players off in 1 window and they all come off one at a time. Especially if they're trying to waste time.
Exactly. Well, I say Guaita is going to have an absolute field day trying to time waste. He's good at it now, but fucking hell.
Here's the key. He even gets the handshake from Pep Guardiola in the game. Probably you're a good goalkeeper. You don't need to do this. Why are you doing this? Shut up, mate. Like,
go away, Pep.
Give me 5 subs and then never make any fucking subs, you dickhead. But yeah, I did touch on there that we have depth these days, and we might need to be exploiting some of that depth because Zaha and Elise on international duty somehow have picked up, I don't know what a grade 2 hamstring is for Zaha and a foot injury for Elise, but Vieira seemed, when talking to the press today, he refused to rule them out.
Yeah, well, the first thing I read about Elise was on this French paper's website that said it was a swollen foot. And then the next day, some fucking random bloke on Twitter's talking about, he's getting a scan on his hamstring and he's got crutches. Well, apparently not. I mean, I don't know who that bloke is, probably says it, but the swollen foot, you would think, I mean, probably don't risk either of them for Arsenal game. And then swollen foot will be all right. I don't know what you say? It was a type 2 or whatever hamstring. I don't know what that means. He looked quite happy when he was talking to Gay before the game. I don't obviously with these players you don't want to risk it, and the big game in the horizon's the Chelsea semi-final. So I suppose just sort of chill out with them until then and hope they're all right. But Vieira did seem a little less sort of concerned than the outrage on Twitter when it all broke. So hopefully that's a good sign.
Yeah, I've been trying to distance myself from Twitter rumours and all of that. And in the past, I always used to really want to know like inside information and all of that. I'll find out when they tell us. Like, I can't change it in any way, shape, or form. Do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Just turn up on a day and see the lineup come out at 2:00 and be like, oh.
Oh, Schlupp again. Great.
All this Schlupp slander from you today. Come on.
I know.
I think he's been doing all right.
He has.
More than all right, actually. I think he's doing really well.
I actually agree. I apologise. I know that you're listening, Jeff, and I apologise.
And there's rumours that James McArthur might be back in time for the game, at least to make the squad, which is, just in time to Clark Saka back up into the air again.
It's funny. They're still very sore about this when he hoofed Saka up in the air.
I hear Saka's still pretty sore as well.
Yeah. But then I saw this video this Arsenal fan had made of like all of these like niggly little shitbag fouls that Ben White did, and they're like, oh, that's what I like to see. Well, then exactly. I'll tell you where else you can see it, when Saka's been booted up in the air, and you can't complain.
Exactly. And so exactly, when it's happening to them, it's a conspiracy and everyone's out to get Arsenal. When they're doing it, it's top shithousery. Like, come on, mate. I mean, that Ben White he keeps doing it. Like, he's getting, eventually the referees are going to have a discussion and VAR is going to pick him up on it and send him off. Like, he's kicking people off the ball. Like, it's completely, I don't know how it's not the definition of a red card.
No. And a couple of them that I saw were like someone sort of breaking into the Arsenal half, like streaking away from any of the other Arsenal players, and he just punts him in the ankle and knocks him over. Yeah. And it's like, well, that's, if the referee sees it, you would say then it's like nailed on. But let's hope he doesn't get away with it on Monday. Yeah,
exactly. Well, I don't know. So Monday we've got our Arsenal team news. It looks like Ramsdale probably not going to make it. Saka's had COVID, but he missed out the England squad, and I imagine, unless it's seriously impacted his health, which is unlikely for a youngster who's fit and healthy. I'm sure he'll be back and playing. Patrick Vieira talks about we're a different team since we last played them, but I think it's fair to say they're a different team since we last played them as well, with getting rid of some players. I mean, you've got to imagine there was a problem there with Aubameyang, and that's why they ended up getting rid and so on. But certainly a much more what you'd expect from Arsenal performances of more of late.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of their games recently, and they do look a lot better than they did when we played them. I mean, I thought when we played them at the Emirates, we were much better than them. Them getting their last minute equaliser was jammy. But yeah, since then they
fluke goal,
average, a very average,
a very average fluke goal. Yeah.
But they look way more confident now. They look a lot better on the ball than they did when we played them. So it's going to be a very tough game. I mean, but then that said, I mean we've been playing very well of late. I think first half against Wolves was probably the best 45 minutes we've had under Vieira. And then the second half was very good defensively. Man City, I thought we played very well against. Everton, we obviously battered. So we're in good form too. I mean, it's. I think it'd be a tough game, but I'd be surprised if Arsenal fans weren't thinking the same.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal have been doing particularly well away from home. where we haven't won in the Premier League at home for 5 games now, which surprised me when I read that stat. I was a bit like, really? And counting back, like, oh yeah, no, that's right, because you get the 2 FA Cup wins thrown into the mix in there, which kind of skew it a bit. But the Arsenal are like taking the lead and consolidating on it in away games. You know, they've got like, I think their last 5 away games, I think they've been winning, or 4, they've been winning at half time and then winning at full time as well. So, and it's definitely, you know, you see that counter attacking is very, very good. So yeah, it's going to be a tough game, interesting battle, and I think it's going to be a good barometer for both teams in terms of sort of marking where they've come since that game back then. It'll be interesting. But I think happy with a point, or
I would be. There's still.
We've had to be happy with a point a lot this season.
We have, and you know me. I predict 0 points all the time, so I'm always happy with a point. I think I said this before the Man City game, but against the sort of so-called big teams, or at least teams at the top of the table, I'm always happy to get a point. You know, before a game. I'm all right during a game if we've 3-0 up and don't win, then that's a bit annoying, but. Before the game, if you'd say, point against, 2 points across the season against Arsenal, I'd absolutely take that.
4 against City.
4 against City, yeah. I'll take that. That's all right.
Although the none against Liverpool and Chelsea is becoming a regular occurrence, which
that's a bit annoying. Look, I do think it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see how we do if Elise and Wilf aren't playing. And whether Ebbs then gets a look in the league, or whether he plays Edouard and Ayew, because that makes it a sort of different type of performance, I think.
There was definitely some flashes from Ebbs in that FA Cup quarter-final that he was looking back to his old self somewhat. The drops of the shoulders and the gliding was coming back in Suarez. Yeah, just really, the pass to Wilf for JP's goal was... lovely, perfectly weighted.
Would you describe that pass as average or better than average?
No, it was average pass, fluky cross from Wilf because he's got no end product.
That's right.
And just a toe punt from Mateta.
Jammy.
Fluked it. Yeah, definitely. Don't be salty. Come on now.
But no, it was really good to see Ebbs back, because he's had the odd cameo and hasn't really looked as we'd hope, which is understandable given the injury. But yeah, he really got into his groove against Everton, and if he can do that for a few more games for the end of the season, it's a bonus, I think.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, I'd be happy with a point as well. Obviously, I don't know. I do worry that we've got this game and then the Leicester game following it up before the FA Cup semi-final. Always that worry of, have they got their head on the semi-final? Yeah. The good thing is we do have Conor Gallagher, or the bad thing as it is that he's still gonna. He's not got to think about that semi-final, has he? He's gonna still be putting in the shifts, hopefully. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but. Yeah, I'll take a point, as you say, any time against one of the big traditional top 6. That's it, I think. Quick one on after a while out, a month out of no pods. Ease ourselves back in. Hopefully, Albert should be back with us next week when we look ahead to Leicester. I did some research to see who we're playing.
Right. I only reason I know that is because I had to buy the tickets for our group for that. So that's
nice. Yeah. So I think we'll look out our socials. We'll do that either Wednesday or Thursday next week. And also look at the Back of the Nest socials to get involved in the group chat on Discord if you're into that kind of thing. I actually use Discord, so you actually might get some messages from me on there if you join in. Yeah, Skip's like, what's Discord? He's
a dream.
Googling it. He's Googling it right now. But yeah, so thanks for listening. Hopefully we'll be back in the swing of things now and on a regular basis through to the end of the season, which will be crowned as FA Cup champions. And FA Cup champions, FA Cup winners, and a European tour. Pretty much
God,
on.
Please,
Yeah,
please.
Yeah, it would be Spartak Moscow, Dynamo Kiev, and
Well,
no, brilliant. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll be back next week. And until then, up the Palace.